John Dwyer here, and this case study is all about a client that I had for many years, called the Greater Building Society. The Greater Building Society is a financial institution here in Australia, and their target audience are pretty much working class people. So the big four banks here in Australia tend to target a much broader audience that includes a lot of professionals, people who are wearing collars and ties. Whereas a building society and a credit union here in Australia, and I suspect overseas as well, tends to target working class people. So they would more than likely be people who perhaps might be truck drivers or electricians or plumbers. They might work in the trades industry. They might very well have their own business, by the way, but they tend to be more working class people. And so therefore, when I got involved with the Building Society, I identified that this was the case, and then I looked at what the advertising was that they were doing previous to that, and I explained to them that they were chasing, too wide an audience. So you'll hear me often say, look, widen your funnel, but I mean widen your funnel within your profitable target audience sector. In this instance, they were just spraying bullets everywhere, marketing themselves to, sort of wealthy professional people, when in fact those wealthy professional people just wouldn't get their home loan, and they wouldn't have their savings account with a building society or credit union if their life depended on it. Those people will always gravitate to a bank, just as they will always buy a BMW or they will buy a Mercedes motor car. That's just the way it is. And so it's very, very silly to be trying to get them to change their mind. So I said to them, look, if you're after selling home loans, because that was really their big product, to the working class people, then why don't we use a wow factor to take their eyes off the interest rate, because it is considerably easier to take the eyes off the price for working class people than it is for rich people. That's just the way it is. I'm not saying it still can't be done. If you've got a product that's aimed at wealthy people, I can show you how you can actually create a wow factor diversion to take their eyes off the price. It's just a little bit more difficult, and it's a little bit more specialised. In the instance of working class people, McDonald's have shown us for many, many years that they've been able to take the parents' or grandparents' eyes off the price of a Happy Meal by simply putting a free Disney toy in that box. And the whole idea of McDonald's giving away the free plastic toy with the Happy Meal is to take your eyes off the price. And they've been doing that very successfully for a lot of years, and so too has Kellogg's breakfast cereals with their toys in the box. So, because my mantra is all about taking their eyes off the price, I said to the Building Society, look, I've been doing some infomercials for a wholesale travel company, whereby if you were to give them $1,000, they'll give you a $2,000 value holiday. So why don't we do this? Why don't I introduce you to the travel wholesale company, and why don't we stop what you're doing at the moment, which was a 1% honeymoon deal. So what they would do is they'd say, get a home loan from us and we'll give you a 1% break on your interest rate for the first year, which meant that if you borrowed $100,000, you would get a $1,000 break on your interest for the first year. They give you a 1% break on your interest, right? And if you borrowed $200,000 and you had a 1% honeymoon rate, then that meant that you were saving $2,000 that year. $300,000 loan, you would save $3,000 in the first year before the interest rate went back up to where it was, okay? And I said to them, look, why don't you actually give that to the travel wholesale company, and they will give you a holiday worth double that. So if it happened to be a $300,000 loan and you normally would have given a $3,000 break on the first year, then give that $3,000 to the holiday company and they'll give you a $6,000 holiday or thereabouts. And they went, right, okay, well, okay, we'll give you a rope and see whether or not it works. And that's what we did. We jumped on TV and every other media, both online and offline. And but I'll just give you the TV one for the sake of it because it's easy. And we just said, get a home loan, get a holiday. Now we widened the funnel because anyone in any given time, the percentage of anyone at any given time who's woken up this morning and thought about, look, I need a home loan, is less than 5%. That's just the way it is. There's the statistics. But there were 54% of people who were unhappy with their banks because they'd had a nasty experience, or they were copping too many fees, or whatever it was. The bank manager didn't remember their name or whatever. And so therefore I said, look, let's just say not only get a home loan, you get a holiday, but swap your home loan and you get a holiday. So swap from the nasty banks who are charging you all those fees and treating you like a number instead of a person, and they give you bad service, swap across and we'll give you a holiday. So we widened that funnel from just the 5% of people who are half interested in a home loan today to 54% of people who are dissatisfied with their bank. The thing went nuts. We tested it for 3 months, put it on TV, and you can see evidence of the ads when you scroll through this case study. You can have a look at the TV ads and so forth. It went ballistic. And they doubled their home loans, I think, in the first, 3 or 4 months, and they tripled their home loans in the first 18 months. It was just nuts. Now, that promotion, that offer, went for about 10 years. Okay, now I don't look after the Greater Building Society anymore because I got into the business of providing my services to lots and lots and lots of other businesses, which is what you see all around this website, the Institute of Wow. And I stopped doing just, boutique consultancy to big businesses like that. So I'm not there now. And guess what? They've stopped the promotion and they've gone back to price discounting, and I think I know what the results of that are. And by the way, this is the building society that I ultimately got Jerry Seinfeld to end up promote, get a home loan, get a free holiday. And yes, the Jerry Seinfeld, again, not someone who's just called Jerry Seinfeld, the entertainer, Jerry Seinfeld. And you'll see all about that elsewhere on the site. If you go up to the menu bar, you'll see JD, or I think it's John and Seinfeld. You can read all about that. But this case study is moreover just about the free holiday. So I want to tell you about that. It went nuts, okay? Now, for 10 years, the Building Society was the only financial institution in the entire planet, in the entire world. It was the only bank or financial institution that never advertised a home loan interest rate once. Not once. So, don't tell me that, look, we can give away, a Happy Meal toy, but we've still got to market on price. No, you don't have to market on price. If you take their eyes off the price, you can maintain margin. And if the wow factor is as good as this one, you can escalate sales beyond your wildest dreams. And now obviously it has to be messaged to market match, and getting a free holiday is pretty sexy, okay? I mean, it's a pretty good deal. But guess what? It was cost neutral to the Building Society. They were giving away the equivalent of this cost anyway in a 1% honeymoon rate. But guess what? Every other bank was doing the same thing. So they were in a sea of sameness. But by transferring that money that they were wasting on a honeymoon rate, because it was just invisible, to a free holiday and marketing it with the pizzazz that I convinced them to market it with, I produced all their TV ads, of course, it went ballistic. It went nuts. I often say to hairdressers, if you were to put a sign outside your hairdresser which said, 10% off, do you think you'd have your door busted down by ladies going, look, I want to get my haircut? I don't think so. But if you said that for every $50, I'm going to give you a free cinema point, a picture theatre cinema point, and then for 6 points, which meant 6 times $50 they spent with you, you get 2 tickets to the cinema, I know what would happen. Now, 6 times 50 is $300. 2 cinema tickets would be $30, thereabouts. $30 on 300 is what? 10%. So for the same equivalent of a 10% discount, the same cost, that hairdressing salon will get so much more bang for their buck. And that's exactly what we did here with the Building Society. I often say to businesses, would you be prepared to give up 10% of your sale price if I could double or triple your business? And the answer is they put up their hand straight away. Well, guess what? It's pretty much possible every single time. When I come across people who own businesses who are willing to give up 10% of the sale price, and who isn't, then what I do then, I've got that budget and I show them exactly how they can turn that 10% into a value add bonus component that will just knock the socks off their target audience and increase sales beyond their wildest dreams. And that's exactly what happened with the Building Society. It went nuts for 10 years whilst they ran this offer, this bonus offer. Not once did they ever advertise a price. Hope you enjoyed this one. Have a scroll down and you can have a look at the TV ads and all sorts of things. I think you'll enjoy this one. It's an extraordinary success story.